In the dusty libraries of animation history lies a legend, not of what was, but what could have been. A film so ambitious, so painstakingly crafted that it became both a masterpiece and a warning. This is the story of The Thief and the Cobbler, the greatest animated film never truly finished. Richard Williams, the Canadian-British animator celebrated for his technical mastery and obsessive attention to detail, conceived The Thief and the Cobbler in the late 1960s. Drawing inspiration from Middle Eastern folklore and 1001 Nights, Williams imagined a hand-drawn epic unlike anything animation had ever attempted. This would not be a conventional studio film. It would be a pure expression of movement, design, and visual storytelling, a near-silent ballet of animated motion. For nearly 2 decades, Williams worked on the project independently, funding it himself whenever possible. He fit animation work between commercial jobs, titles, and other commissions, slowly building the film piece by piece. What emerged were sequences of astonishing complexity, characters moving through impossible geometries, backgrounds shifting and folding in on themselves, motion so fluid it seemed to defy the limits of hand-drawn animation. But time was not kind to this approach. By the early 1980s, The Thief and the Cobbler had become legendary within animation circles, not for being finished, but for being perpetually unfinished. Williams' perfectionism was both his greatest strength and his undoing. Scenes were constantly revised, reanimated, and expanded. The scope of the film grew faster than its progress. What Williams saw as refinement, financiers increasingly saw as delay. Everything changed in 1988 when Williams achieved massive mainstream success as the animation director for Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Riding that success, Warner Bros. Agreed to finance and distribute The Thief and the Cobbler, finally giving the project the backing it had lacked for decades. For the first time, the film entered full-scale production under a studio system, but with studio backing came deadlines. As production dragged on, budgets ballooned and schedules slipped. Williams continued refining sequences, pushing for visual perfection rather than narrative completion. Meanwhile, the animation landscape was shifting. Disney released Aladdin, a fast-paced musical adventure drawing from similar Middle Eastern aesthetics. Its success only heightened Warner Bros. Concerns. Williams' film, by contrast, was largely silent, unconventional, and unfinished. In 1992, Warner Bros. Screened the incomplete film for executives. The response was disastrous. With missing scenes, unfinished animation, and no clear end in sight, the studio withdrew support. A completion bond company seized control of the project, and Richard Williams, the man who had spent over 30 years bringing the film to life, was removed from his own creation. What followed was a salvage operation. The unfinished film was handed to producer Fred Calvert, whose task was not to preserve Williams' vision, but to deliver a releasable product as quickly and cheaply as possible. Dialogue was added to characters originally intended to be silent. Musical numbers were inserted. Animation shortcuts were taken. The film was reshaped into something resembling a conventional family feature. In 1993, this version was released internationally as The Princess and the Cobbler. In the United States, Miramax, then a Disney subsidiary, re-edited it again and released it as Arabian Night. Neither version found an audience. The film was a critical and commercial failure, earning only a fraction of its production cost and quickly fading from public memory. But the story didn't end there. If you've made it this far and are enjoying what you've seen and heard, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Over time, bootleg copies of Williams' original work print began circulating among animators and enthusiasts. These rough assemblies revealed glimpses of what the film had once promised, breathtaking visual sequences untouched by studio mandates. In 2006, animator Garrett Gilchrist undertook an ambitious fan restoration known as the Recobbled Cut, piecing together surviving footage, pencil tests, and production notes to approximate Williams' intended vision as closely as possible. The result was not a finished film, but something arguably more powerful, proof of a lost masterpiece. Today, The Thief and the Cobbler exists as a paradox. It is simultaneously a cautionary tale about unchecked perfectionism and one of the most awe-inspiring achievements in hand-drawn animation. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has preserved Williams' work print. Documentaries like persistence of vision have ensured the story is not forgotten. In the end, The Thief and the Cobbler stands as a reminder of both the possibilities and dangers of artistic ambition. It asks a difficult question: how far should a creator go in pursuit of perfection? And at what point does the dream itself become the thing that prevents completion? The film was never truly finished, but perhaps that's why it endures. Because sometimes the greatest works aren't the ones that reach the screen intact, but the ones that continue to inspire long after the final frame was supposed to be drawn. In the golden city of unfinished dreams, The Thief and the Cobbler still shines, incomplete, uncompromised, and unforgettable. Were you aware of any of this? I want to discuss all of these points with you and read your thoughts in the comments below. This has been 3PC, Past Present Pop Culture. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.